How we doing? I'm Trick or Trauma, and I got hit up last night on the internet and got asked about doing a kind of a lessons learned, if you would, about the whole COVID thing. So I know I said yesterday that was going to be the last COVID video that I put out, and it is. This one is kind of a culmination of, had I known then what I know now, I would have done things differently, or done some things differently, and I feel like I potentially could have either shortened the illness or had a better way through it. So I felt it was a worthy thing to do. The person who hit me up said that they were really kind of financially in a spot, scared to death to get COVID, and that it would be a bad deal for them. So now, guys, can't give medical advice. Can't do that. I'm not a doctor. The whole thing about the liability of telling people things to do and then them go doing them, and then I get in trouble. That's not what I'm here about. However, all I'm going to say is these are things that I did myself, how I did them, and then what I would have done differently with them. Okay, so this is about me. I'm not giving you advice. I'm telling you about what the differences in this for me. So first and foremost, this product right here, I truly believe this product right here more than likely saved my life. I really do. I was giving myself in the evening times 2 milliliters of that and some orange juice. I would give myself 2 milliliters of that in orange juice every evening, one time a day. Okay, and I waited until I started having respiratory involvement, so I started coughing, that kind of thing. Knowing now what I knew then, knowing then what I know now, I would have, the day that I found out I was positive, I'd have just gone ahead and started taking it. I mean, when I got home from the testing center, having known that I was positive, I would have just gone ahead and that evening started doing the 2 milliliters of that. Okay. Probably the second most effective thing that I was able to do was find that recipe online on YouTube, matter of fact, for hydrochloroquine. And guys, I'm telling you, it's like 4 grapefruits, 6 lemons, peel off the grapefruits, peel off the lemons, put them in a pot, put water on it until the peels are just barely covered, like they're going to try to float up a little bit. You don't need an excess of water. You just want enough that everything's getting covered. Put that thing on simmer. Let it simmer for like 3 to 4 hours with a glass lid on it, so that you can sit there and watch and make sure that it's not burning off all the water. And it should extract all the oils out of the rinds of the grapefruits and the lemon. Let it cool down. Put it in a mason jar. 1 shot glass. 1 shot glass is 2 teaspoons. Okay, so 2 tablespoons. 1 shot glass in the morning and 1 shot glass in the evening. And I would have done that the minute that I found out that I had COVID. Like, I would have started that very day. That whole hydrochloroquine, that even though it's homemade, and I'm sure that's nowhere near as good as a pharmaceutical grade stuff that you could get, noticeable difference. As soon as I started taking it, that it was breaking up the stuff in my chest, and it was helping me feel like I was breathing a little bit easier. And that was a big thing for me. The third thing is actually that the first day that I decided that I was just going to lay around the house all day and take it easy and not do anything is the first day that I started feeling like I started going downhill. I was out here moving lilies in the garden and mowing yards and still taking care of stuff around the house. And, I felt under the weather, but I didn't feel bad. It wasn't until I took that first day off, and I didn't take the day off because I felt bad, okay? I just, I felt a little weak, but I didn't feel bad. And I took that day off and decided to just sit around and, watch stuff on the computer and just kind of bum for a day. And I figured I'm sick, I deserve it, whatever. And that was a horrible decision. You need to stay up and stay moving. You need to remain on your feet the absolute most you can and try to get, that little bit of something done today that keeps you moving, keeps you forward progress, keeps you breathing, keeps your heart going, keeps everything in motion, okay? You do not need to get sedimentary and let that disease kind of have a day where it can just do what it wants without you putting forth some physical energy in it, having to try to keep up with you. So number 3 is definitely do not slow down unless you absolutely get to the point where you're so profoundly short of breath that anything you do just makes you short of breath. So number 4 would be stay up with your food. As I said in the beginning, that I had a voracious appetite to begin with, and that dwindled off fairly quick after a few days, and then I got to the point where nothing. I did not want to eat anything at all, there towards the end, like an entire day's calories for me would be like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Like I'd tell my wife, I only feel like making something from in the house, and she would just pick up a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit on the way home, and that would be a full 24-hour day's worth of calories for me. And so, for a person who believes in nutrition and all the things that can go along with that, number 1, it's a horrible food choice to begin with. But number 2, you're not doing yourself any favors because you're putting yourself in a deficit. Now you're in a situation where your body's trying to fight a disease process, and you're in a caloric deficit, and you're not doing yourself any favors with not making sure that you're putting nutritional food into your body at a rate that would allow it to be readily available for the purpose of fighting off this disease. So you have to keep the eye on the ball on the nutrition side, which I horribly failed at during this disease, and ended up a gross amount of 8 pounds lost. Water intake, you have to pound water. Every opportunity you get. The way your body is going to be able to eventually muster the energy and the ability to separate that phlegm from the inside of your lungs and get it so that you can cough it up and out of the body involves hydration, okay? And if you're dehydrated, you're not going to be successful at doing that, all right? You have to stay hydrated, all right? And beyond that, just keep a good attitude. There were a couple of points in there where my attitude was really probably pretty bad, and I had to keep using different things to recenter my attitude and focus myself back in the right direction. But you have to keep a good attitude, and realistically, I mean, you've got to be on top of yourself. But I would have done a lot of the things that I kept waiting and guessing, and should I do this now, should I wait till this happens, no. I'd have taken the ivermectin the very first day I found out I was positive. I'd have gotten into that hydrochloroquine recipe and made that and started taking that the very first day that I found out that I was infected. I would have made sure that I didn't take any days off. I stayed up on being on my feet, getting stuff done to the best of my ability. Excuse me, out of state, with my, trying to keep as much nutritional food coming in as possible, and then kept as well as hydrated as I could. And I would have really been a little bit more strict about sleeping hours. I understand, and I'm a big proponent. And you hear me say that the body recovers during sleep, but I think that whole down day, along with just a ton of sleeping, is really, didn't do me a tremendous amount of good. So, guys, that's where I would be on that. That's, those would be some of the things that I would say. My father-in-law, God, I'm telling you, the guy's a tank. He's 60, I believe 68 years old. He's positive for COVID right now. The guy was out yesterday rebuilding the planetary gears in a tractor. And, I look at him and I'm like, oh, I still got a lot to learn, and yeah, I look at some of these older guys who I know. The guy at the metal shop I was talking to you about the other day, the guy I went by his shop earlier today, he's over there welding tree stands for people who need tree stands. So, these older guys are just not going to stop. And I made the mistake of stopping and thinking that I deserved to just take a day off, and it bit me squarely in the butt. So beyond that, the great news is today was the first day I managed to go back to the gym, and I'm going to tell you, it felt phenomenal to get into the gym. All I did was a 45-minute kind of light to mid cardio on the treadmill, a little bit of running, a little bit of jogging, a little bit of walking, just trying to manipulate my heart rate and get it up and down and kind of run it through its paces, just to see if I wasn't going to have any weird like muscle cramps come up or anything like that. And oh man, the feeling of getting done with that session and just being like, we're good, we're going to be able to work with this. I've already told my wife yesterday, I told her I was going to go do the cardio thing today, and then if the cardio thing worked out today, I was going to end up in the gym tomorrow doing some weightlifting. And I am already stoked and looking forward to that weightlifting session tomorrow. So, but that's what I would do different. Looking back now and seeing, kind of what I would change, that is exactly what I would change. And this, I would say that homemade hydrochloroquine probably run you somewhere in the area of, and I'm gonna say $15, but at $15, I'm telling you, I think I'm overestimating the cost on that one. I would say you could probably do it for 10. And then ivermectin, it's gonna run you about $43 for the one that I got. So, and beyond that, just keep that attitude right. Keep that attitude in the right place. So that's where we're at, guys. Appreciate you. You guys have a great day. I'm Trick or Trauma. See you later.